everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Ian Chiquino. Today I've got a ladder game for you featuring a Zerg player you may have heard of, IdrA. So we have IdrA down here in the bottom right versus Hincram, a blue Terran player. You're probably not too familiar with him. He doesn't really play in any tournaments or anything, but he is a 2200 Terran player on the ladder, second place in his division right underneath QXC, so he's definitely a very good player. I've watched quite a few custom games, so I'm very aware of his play style. And actually, I'm going to be calling him Richmond because Hincram is just an anagram of Richmond. So when I say Richmond, that's who I'll be talking about. But anyway, we got IdrA down here in the bottom position, going for an Overlord, probably more than likely going to fast expand. We are on Jungle Basin, the new map that has been added to the single player ladder. But it's really easily defended, probably more so than it's probably on the equal defensibility of like Delta Quadrant. Even I would say even easier defended than Delta Quadrant, just because you have to go through the main base before you can even get to the Expo, and the Expo is also walled off just like it is in Delta Quadrant. So more than likely we'll see IdrA go over here in Expo at 15 foot, and there he is. That drone is moving over there to the Expo. And Richmond is going to be going with a barracks supply depot, probably some type of harass play. I mean, I've watched so many games of Richmond playing, and he's a really aggressive Terran player. And that's definitely the exact opposite style of play that IdrA goes for. IdrA, of course, super well known for being a macro player. And throwing down that spawning pool, and looks like he's going to send out a drone to do some scouting. Now, one thing about this map as Zerg, of course, your bases are pretty far apart from each other, and your bases are very far away from your actual entrance. So it's going to take like one creep tumor to just get a spine crawler in position to cover your front. And of course, if you cover your front, that will also cover this. But on most maps, you can cover your front entrance just from either your Expo or from your main. Like on Delta Quadrant, you can put a spine crawler right in front of your main and get down there. But of course, if you want to get down to the next level, you have to put one creep tumor, so that's just a little bit of a problem. I see IdrA maybe having to face. So he's getting his gas up. Our Terran player going here for a quick factory. No surprise there. Getting his second gas already, and IdrA appears scouting it out. He's got his drone in there, and a reactor being placed on that barracks. So IdRA's seeing this. He sees a factory, sees a reactor. More than likely, he's assuming a lot of Hellions coming. So IdrA still has a tech. He's just going to be drone pumping for a while, waiting for that queen to finish, going on queen at each of his bases. So we have two queens popping out at the exact same time. I've seen IdrA go with a lot of Ling, Baneling Mutaplay against Terran, especially during MLG. As far as I know, IdrA doesn't play too much on the American servers anymore since he moved to Korea, most likely due to the lag. But he is in US. He's in the US right now at DC playing for MLG. So this game took place during that. So he was probably just there practicing or warming up for this. So actually, Richmond is going for a double starport build, but he's showing a factory with a reactor on it. Now he has his supply to put down. He's really gonna have to raise that so those lings don't get in there. So IdrA come up here, scouts. He sees the reactor on the factory, and he's thinking, okay, I need to worry about Hellion harass. That's what he's thinking, because as far as he knows, that's what he sees. He sees a reactor there, and he's going to see this Hellion pop out. Actually, yep, he's going to actually survive that. So he's got two queens out and starting to tech, so not too late on that tech. Is actually getting that spine crawler and worried about those Hellions. He is actually pushing up the spine crawler, waiting for this creep tumor, the second creep tumor to finish before he can move up his spine crawler. Plays here in a very good position to stop any harass. But as far as he's concerned, as far as scouting goes, he's just seen a barracks factory, so he's probably anticipated quite a few Hellions at this point. So teching, and we'll probably see him throw down a Spire as soon as this is finished. And we already have two Banshees coming out from Richmond. He went for double Tech Lab, double Banshees, not even bothering getting Cloak. He's going to come up with some serious harass and serious aggression. That is 100% his play style. I think I've only seen him macro maybe one game. But IdrA with a really nice spread of his lings here. He's got a couple up here, a couple down here, a couple three. So I really like the spread of this. Really in a great position to deal with any type of Hellions that run in. Get a nice surround. But little does he know there are some Banshees coming out, and even has one Hellion here covering the Salmaga Tower, so he knows if there's any overlords in position that may be able to spot his Banshee before it gets there. That Banshee is on its way down here. This Banshee's got one queen here, and there is that typical IdrA play, putting that Spire in between his expansion and his natural, or sorry, between his main and his natural. I've seen him do that almost every single game. That's just where he likes to put his Spire. So this Banshee's going to get in here, and IdrA with just one queen is up against two Banshees, and he's just not connecting this, so this queen is going to show up. He does not have enough for transfusion, bringing in Lings, but he's not going to be able to do anything. Going to try and focus fire. Actually manages to save this queen, but this one over here is going to die. Only gets that Banshee down to half-life. He's going to start producing quite a few queens. He's got an Overseer out. He's worried about Cloak, but Richmond hasn't even got Cloak yet. He's only about halfway finished with Cloak now. These Banshees just getting quite a few kills, 5 kills on this one, 4 kills on this one. This Spire is more than likely going to be finished. If Richmond was smart, he would probably come in focus fire and kill this Spire, but he's actually just going to go kill drones and do some damage. May have been beneficial to him just a suicide on this Spire, but maybe he was worried about it finishing. But since the patch, that buff did come to those Spires, so they do have more life. So another queen coming out here is going to probably mop up these Banshees here pretty quick. But another Banshee comes in, takes out that queen, but he's still rebuilding another queen. That's the only source of AA right now. So one Muta being produced. He's got about 500 gas, but he's so low on minerals right now, so he can barely squeak out Mutas. And he has an Overseer out, so he's got detection as soon as that Cloak finishes, but IdrA's really in trouble right now. He's just trying to micro his queens as well as possible, and Richmond is just going to town on these drones and actually picking off queens left and right with those Muta. So in the meantime, he's building an engineering bay, he's building an expansion, has quite a few workers, so we can check the worker count now. Those quick Banshees have done so much damage to his economy, and IdrA is such a macro player, he's probably completely on tilt right now. So you're finally getting those those metalisks out, is mopping up those Banshees pretty quickly. So you should have air control at this point, which is definitely good for him, good for map control. So he's going to start drone pumping pretty hard right now. At least that's what I would assume that IdrA is going to be doing. There's really not much room for a counterattack because of this wall off, of course. And throwing down another factory and getting a Thor out. So actually, where's that? There's that armory, and even putting up some missile turrets for any type of defense in the back of his base. Pretty smart. But Richmond, getting ready to set up this expansion, probably going to upgrade that to an orbital. Actually, not going to upgrade to an orbital, just going to fly right over there. He's got more than enough saturation, so it's definitely going to be pretty cost effective. As soon as he gets it over there, transfers quite a few SCVs, pretty good. And is still building Banshees, and another factory building Hellion. Is probably going to be making a tech lab on this to make some more Thors. Now he has no upgrades yet, but those Banshee, those Mutas coming in, getting a little bit clumped up there. That Thor getting hits on all 4 of them. So just trying to catch back up on the drone production. You can check the production right now. He's catching up just a little bit, but this expansion is really going to start kicking in. Throwing up some missile turrets around the back of his base just for some protection. Still hasn't thrown up an orbital yet. I'm surprised. Maybe he's waiting. I don't really see the point of building a planetary fortress there. He probably just maybe forgot about it. So pushing out right now, Richmond has 2 Banshees and a handful of Marines and a Thor, so he should have more than enough AA to deal with this little batch of Mutalisks. So more than likely, we'll see IdrA throw down a Baneling's nest here and just continue to pump a Speedlings. There we go. He's got 14 more Speedlings coming out. Still spreading that creep, doing a very good job of that. Spreading that creep like herpes in a horror house. Even using overlords to get out there and spread some creep. He really is going to need that speed bonus if he wants to catch those Marines out in the open. So one Hellion out here, probably could use maybe 1 or 2 more Hellions just to deal with the mass Ling, but I don't really think it's going to matter. He just has to keep these Marines alive there, the majority of his AA. Of course he has his Thor, but those Lings can tear through those Marines extremely quickly. So this one Spine Crawler is going to drop due to those 4 Banshees pushing up, and it looks like Richmond's going to come in here for an attack. IdrA has quite a bit of units. He's going to focus fire down using that magic box with those Mutalisks. He just comes in here, and those Lings take out all those units. Drops that Thor. He has Cloak. He's going to come in here and start focus firing down, killing some drones. Has them rallied up. But there is an Overseer somewhere, but unfortunately it's out of position over here at his expo. Even bringing some SCVs. I think those were a little late to the party. They were probably meant to bring in and repair that Thor, trying to end the game. But he did manage to kill quite a few drones right there. He did try to save most of his drones over here on the left. So IdrA has a very high air army right now. So the worker production is still a little close. Blue actually will lose quite a bit of mining time by pulling these SCVs. So a lot of Lings in return. So looks like IdrA's going to try and go for a counterattack right now. He's got no upgrades for his Muta, and I don't think he has any upgrades for his Zerglings at the moment. So no upgrades for that right now. He's going to come and knock on the front door here. but it looks like Richmond is still going with the Thor Banshee Marine build, getting 2 Thors out of both of these factories, so he should have more than enough AA to deal with these Mutalisks and the Banshees and Hellions, and 1 Hellion and then a few Marines should be able to mop up any Zerglings. He doesn't have too many Zerglings, and he doesn't have a Baneling's Nest yet. So we have vehicle plating being upgraded, very good upgrade for those Thors, reduce the damage that they take upon those mutas, or from those mutas and those Zerglings. So IdrA back here with quite a few Mutalisks, just taking out that 1 missile turret, giving him enough room to come in here and deal some damage, not even bothering killing the other missile turrets, just killing all the units that were in this immediate area. So with more than enough AA, Richmond is just playing defensive right now. He's probably going to build up an army and try and go for another attack. He's a very aggressive player, so we'll probably see another attack from him pretty soon. IdrA with an Overseer back here just waiting for maybe any type of more Banshee harass, but more than likely that won't come because Richmond is aware of the Banshees and, of course, is aware of the Overseer. So that Baneling's Nest, there it is, finally getting thrown down for IdrA. IdrA probably playing a little bit from behind right here now. He's catching up with Harvesters. He's finally getting back in the game a little bit. He's only behind by 2 now, so his macro has been extremely well. And it looks like IdRA's going to try to focus fire, kill down that tech lab while it's researching that Blue Hellion Flame upgrade. But he's actually going to fall back. No, he's actually going to get away. It's not going to manage to kill that, but dropping down to a couple life, half life, so it's down here smoking and sparking. So getting a little supply blocked right now by Richmond. But he's probably going to start building some supply depots. There he is, building some supply depots. So getting a little supply block, that 1 armor upgrade for those vehicles is about to finish. So IdrA just going with, like I thought, a bunch of Zerglings, and more than likely Banelings, even getting that centrifugal hook upgrade, and getting the level 1 air attack upgrade for his Mutalisks. So back ahead now, IdrA finally catching up, and even surpassing his opponent in macro. Is doing pretty well, but army composition-wise, there are so many Thors out here. Wow, 5 Thors. IdrA coming here doing some attacks, and just trying to pick off SCVs, but he's very clumped up from there, and he really needs to watch out for those Thors, especially if 3 or 4 Thors gets a lot of attacks on there and clumped up muta. That can be half your army just down the drain. IdrA over here on the left, throwing down another expansion, and this creep tumor spread is extremely good by IdrA. He's very, very good at that. Even only working off 2 queens at the moment. So he does get this evolution chambered down. We'll probably see some Zergling upgrades come over there in a second. So IdrA back here just harassing, attacking these supply depots, and doing lots of damage. But oh man, 1 big hit from that 1 Thor, even another hit. That one didn't do too much damage, but that last hit, they were so clumped up, and that AoE spread so well. So rebuilding some missile turrets. Richmond is going to throw up those missile turrets, that way he can actually push out of his base. Looks like he's going to attack right now, and he has so many Thors. Wow, 7 Thors out right now, and about 5 Banshees. And IdrA clumps up at the worst possible time and loses his entire Mutalisk army. And IdrA actually GG's. So relatively good mannered IdrA that game. Even had quite a few Banelings down here, but that early harass just really wrecked him with the Banshees. And this is probably the biggest mistake of the whole game, is just losing those Mutalisks right there to those clumped up Thors. He maybe wasn't anticipating the Thors pushing out, and does manage to lose the majority of his Air Force, and he was kind of in trouble after that point. But a good game from both players, and I'll see you guys later.